Everybody. So it's been a little while since I've done a new video for Q Comp MPDX because I've been so busy with stuff over on Q Computer Channel as well as just life in general. But we are getting ready to experience something pretty crazy here in the southeast. So for those who don't know, I'm located in North Carolina, and we are about to experience a major Arctic blast. So for example, you can see the forecast here. It was calling for periods of rain with a low of 28. Yeah, it don't make sense when you factor in a sub-freezing low with rain. It's just the way the forecast is worded, I guess. But the rain is pretty much out of here. And the thing is, right now, it is 44 degrees here, which is typical for this time of year in December. Matter of fact, on a normal night, it would actually be, I would say, a little colder, but things are getting ready to change. So, for example, this temperature right here, that is our high temperature for December 23rd. And yes, I'm up super late. It's getting close to 4 in the morning. That's what happens during this time of year when I don't have to go to work for a couple weeks. So it's right now it's almost 45 degrees out. Right now we are experiencing our high temperature for today because come about 10, 11 o'clock this morning, things are going to go downhill fast, wind-wise. So you can see we've already got a little bit of breeze going outside. Had a gust of a 7 mile per hour there. Now my weather station probably isn't the best for getting accurate wind measurements due to not being super duper high up in the air. But yeah, you can see that it's registering. It was registering 7 mile an hour. We had, of course, a feels like temp there of like 41. So we already getting some wind chill out there. But things are getting ready to go downhill fast, temperature-wise. So, go and refresh and get the latest forecast. And you can see now they changed the wording of the forecast to a chance of snow this morning. See, the funny thing is, yeah, look, 46 degrees for a high, but snow. Again, computer-generated forecast by weather.com, the wording. So, morning high of 46 degrees with temps falling sharply to near 20 degrees. So yeah, as mentioned, right now we are experiencing our high temperature early in the morning. And so apparently, well, there is some precipitation around at the moment. I guess they weren't anticipating this precip to hang around as long as it is. Yeah, you can see right now up in the mountains, North Carolina, snowing. And you can see, there we are, there's the actual radar, not the estimated bull crap. But, so it looks like we might have some snow showers this morning as this front passes through and temps plummet. Go back to the 10-day forecast. You can see, again, right now we're having our high temperature, and things are going to plummet down to 20 degrees. And then, of course, tonight, well, not right now, but this coming night, it's going to get cold. Not only that, we're going to have some wind. So today it says winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. And you can see Christmas Eve, high of 32, low of 16. Christmas Day, high 38, low 18. The local weather meteorologist, he's saying that we could actually stay below freezing for over 48 hours, which is crazy for this area. So for my northern viewers, this is not typical weather here to be this cold for such a long period of time. So the last time here that we actually had temperatures in the single digits was early 2018. We had a really big cold wave that came through at the end of 2017, early 2018. And I still remember one day at 10 o'clock in the morning, the weather was reporting an outdoor temperature of 8 degrees, which at the time I didn't have my personal weather station. So this will be interesting. I now have that personal weather station so I can see exactly what's going on here. So, yeah, to put icing on the cake, here's something we don't typically have: a wind chill advisory. I think the last time we had a wind chill advisory, at least from what the local meteorologist was saying, was 2015. That's the last time this area has experienced a wind chill advisory. So you can see here, very cold wind chills expected. Wind chills as low as 10 below zero. Yeah, crazy, guys. Now I know up north this is like a walk in the park for you guys, but down here, this is very atypical. Now, what's crazy is usually we experience our super cold weather in January, and it's usually when we have our cold snaps is January. But we have, like for example, as mentioned earlier, late 2017 or 2018, the cold snap did start in December, but it really hit in January. Okay, so here is a look back at 2017 to 2018, the cold wave that we experienced throughout the New Year, on Christmas and New Year. So, this is the data that I got from weather.com. Of course, as mentioned earlier, at this time, I did not have a personal weather station, so I was just relying on weather.com data, which, from my experience, can be between 0 to 5 degrees in variance from what the temperature at this specific area is. So Christmas Day, colder air moves into the area. We experience a morning high of 49. You can see right there. Which, I mean, morning high of 49, but a low of 31. That's not that brutal by any means. That's actually pretty normal here. So 45, 30, 46, 30. December 28th is when the first big part of the cold snap begins to hit. We had a high of 34 that day, a low of 21 that day, 45, 20, and then 51, 30, which 51, 30 is about our average, our winter average for temps. So it came in multiple waves. So at the end of the year, and New Year's Day is when it really began to hit. You can see, January 1st had a high of 28, a low of 17, but then a low of 9 the following morning, high of 32. You can see for 4 days straight, we were below freezing. And then we briefly got above freezing a little bit down on the 5th, January 2018. And you can see 32, 9, and then on the 7th of January, 30 degrees for a high, 7 degrees for a low. So again, guys, that morning, I remember waking up, reloading the wood stove, getting the wood stove burning. This is back when I lived in the old single wide, and that single wide, it was quite a chore to keep it warm when it was really cold. Now this home here, the wood stove's gonna probably have a time keeping it warm, and due to the reason that this home is just so much bigger. But anyway, so 30 degrees for a high that day and 7 for a low. And it's about that point things started to improve. So, yeah. That was the last notable cold snap we had here. The last really big one. And it was crazy. Having lows in the single digits. So here's the deal. So down in the southeast, I guess we can say some of our infrastructure is simply this simply isn't designed for these cold temperatures. So the graphic you're looking at here is from January 7th, 2018, when it was 8 degrees outside according to weather.com. So the single wide had a heat pump for heating. Heat pumps are pretty common in the south. They're somewhat common up north, but of course up north they're only useful during, let's say, like the fall and the spring when it's not super cold out. Because when you start getting below freezing, heat pumps their effectiveness really starts to drop. So this picture was taken again 8 degrees outside. The wood stove was going, had a fire going. The wood stove could not keep up with the heating load of that old drafty single wide, so the central heat was cycling on. So this was the heat pump doing all it could on its own without the auxiliary heat strips kicking on. So the wood stove, just the combination of the wood burning stove and this was keeping the temperature inside at 67 degrees. I think that's what I used to have my thermostat set to back then. But yeah, look at that, guys. So the return air, assuming 67 degrees, with the supply of just 72 degrees. Yeah. Needless to say, the air blowing out of the vents felt cold. Only getting about 5 degrees of temperature rise across the coil. Yeah, so if the auxiliary heat would have kicked on, that would have rose up to about 90 or 100 degrees because it was a 10 kilowatt heat strip in that air handler. So yeah, heat pumps, they really struggle when it gets this cold out. They will keep the house warm, but it will be expensive because they'll be kicking on the auxiliary backup heat to maintain the set point. So for example, my unit, at least the unit in the single wide, and also the unit on the new home, I have them both retrofitted with the Emerson defrost control board, and I have those set to lock out the unit at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, because once you get down to that point, it's, at least with these typical units, not talking about the super high efficient mini splits out there that are rated for super cold weather, but the average heat pumps, once you get down to the single digits, they nearly become useless. Perhaps I could say the COP was still above 1, which 1 would be just electric heat. But it wasn't much more efficient than electric heat. So yeah, homes with gas furnaces, I mean, of course they'll stay warm too. Gas furnaces do much better in super cold weather, but that gas bill though, a lot of people on Nextdoor, I remember, were complaining about their gas bills being $300 because, well, they probably had the thermostat set to a pretty high number, and we had 2 or 3 weeks straight of super cold weather. Well, yeah, that was the cause. So yeah, just to show you guys, it is kind of a big deal in the South when you get Arctic air like this, especially when you combine it with wind and get wind chills. This was not like this. Although it was down to single digits, I don't think, again, there was no wind chill advisory because, well, the winds were calm, so the wind chills weren't that bad. But this time around, they're saying the wind chills could be bad. So if you're watching this and you're in the South and I actually get this uploaded in time, try to stay safe and stay warm. You can see I got the wood stove going right now, actually, and it's going to be going for several days straight. Okay, everybody, it's getting close to 5 p.m. Sun's going to set here in just a little bit. You can see there, it is 24 degrees outside. With the wind chill, I'm going to say of about 17 to 20, depending on the wind speed. It's cold. For this area, it's freaking cold. You can see right there, the lid lay on the ground, water froze on it. It is dang cold, is all I can say. So I know it's been a little while since I've done a video about the home, but there's the back deck painted up. I had to dismantle a little bit of it on the corner there because I was installing that back door. There's the new back doors installed. Finally got the fence back together. Place is still a mess like usual. But yeah, it's really cold out here. At least for this area. So my neighbors next door, they just moved in back in the summer, they're used to this. They're from Montana. So this is like a walk in the park for them, I think. Got the old Christmas decorations up. They're gonna come on here in a little bit once it gets dark. Got some wood up there on the porch ready to go. There's the side deck, painted up. Got Christmas lights on it. Side fence put back together. Still got to deal with that mess over there, but yeah. There's a look at the exterior of the home. I know some of y'all are requesting that. And like I said earlier in this video, these things have a hard time when it gets really cold out. Now the coldest it got, look at all this. The coldest it got last winter, I think, was 14, according to my weather station. I think we're gonna go well below that this time. I mean, it's crazy. This morning it was about 32 degrees. Now we're down to 23, 24, probably 23 by now. It's crazy. We had that morning high of, what, 45, 46 degrees. Now it's like 3 or 4 this morning. And as the day, as crazy as the sun came up, temperatures plummeted. Yes, kind of backwards. And temperatures have been falling throughout the day. Wind's been kind of crazy. Yeah, the wind chill is definitely not making it any better, I'll say that. Yeah, the sun is just about to set, and I swear, guys, it feels like it's getting colder by every minute I stand out here. So we're going back inside right now. Hear my freaking shoes sticking to the steps because, well, shoes got a little wet right there, and then hit those steps that are well below freezing. You know, that goes just like when you wash your hands and try to get ice out of the freezer. Similar deal. I just re-weather stripped the doors. The front door and the side door, and of course the new back doors. Ain't gotta worry about them. They're well sealed. They're brand new doors. So yeah, 23 degrees out right now. Got the wood stove burning. It's 76 here in the living room. But when you walk in other rooms in the house, it does cool off a little bit. So it's like 71 in here. So this place doesn't do too bad with the wood stove. Of course, the wood stove, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the last time we had a really big Arctic air mass come through, late 2017 or 2018, I was in that old single wide, which was 910 square feet, but it was drafty and very poorly insulated. Like the exterior walls, I swear were built out of 2x2s. They were like that thick. This home has 2x4s in the walls, in the exterior walls, and 2x3s in the interior walls. But yeah, so I can say this wood stove it's doing a pretty decent job heating this home. I mean, that little wood stove is rated for, I think, 1,800 square feet, and this is about 1,500 square feet home. So I will see tonight if I'm going to have to at least cycle on the central blower to circulate some air. Because you get here to the kitchen, it does feel a little cooler. That's alright. I'm going to be doing some baking for Christmas here pretty soon, so that's going to warm it up in here. And going to be making some chicken and dumplings tonight. And of course, I have a video up on the channel I shot about 2 or 3 years ago making chicken and dumplings, in case you're interested. So yeah, the place is kind of a mess right now. That's why I don't really show it off that much, because I mean, it is my personal private residence. And of course, it was great showing it off on the home project playlist. But yeah, it's getting to where I'm not going to be doing quite as many videos inside, because I mean, it is my private residence. So I hope y'all understand what I mean by that. But yeah, guys, it feels much better looking at the sunset in here. And dang, that window's dirty. I gotta wash that door. I gotta take the signs off of it. So the doors, all I gotta do inside is I need to just install a new trim, because these doors are actually a little bit smaller than the opening versus the old doors. So just gotta fill that in with probably some spray foam. I already got a little bit in there. I gotta put a little more in there, but there's no air draft coming through here because it's sealed on the outside. So I don't feel any cold drafts coming around these doors. So I think we're good there. And the reason why I've held off on doing the trim work is because that's when we'll make sure that these things do not leak. And we've had several heavy rain events since I completed installing these back in late October. And they've done just fine. No more leaking around the bottoms of the doors. I'll never forget when it was N that came through. I think it was N. Whichever one. Yeah, it was N. When N came through, the door that was in the computer room, you could just feel the water coming into the bottom of it because the subfloor was completely gone because it rotted away. And of course, the rim joist had just been replaced, so it still had fresh pressure-treated lumber. But yeah, I'm so glad these doors have been changed out. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, little, I guess, sort of update on the new home. Got you all some outside views of it, and I'll include some photos of the of the Christmas lights and everything. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be a cold one of these next few days. Matter of fact, I'm sitting looking at my weather station's temperature, and it's just been dropping. We're down to 23.2, and it was like 23.6 or whatever when I started this little clip, and that was less than 10 minutes ago. See, as that sun sets, we're gonna plummet. I mean, the forecast low for tonight is 10 degrees. It's crazy, guys. Okay, everybody, since I have not yet uploaded the previous footage to YouTube, it is now 1:35 a.m. Christmas Eve, and it is 10 degrees outside, guys. Freaking cold. With the feels like temperature of 3.4 degrees. Yeah, that's cold. For here, that is cold. So I think it's safe to say it is now the coldest since I have put this weather station in service. I believe this is the lowest temperature it is recorded. Okay, so if I go to monthly mode on this personal weather station, we can see that our lowest recorded temperature is currently what it is outside, 10 degrees. If I go back, of course, November, the lowest was 22. And if we go back to, let's say, February, the lowest was 22. Or 23, close to 23. Look at January. So it got down to 15.4. That was the lowest recorded temperature in January of this year. If we go back to December of last year, our lowest temperature in December of last year was 25 degrees. Yeah. December of last year was noticeably different than December of this year, because December last year I was finishing up the home project, and of course I was out working at night on things like the decks and stuff like that, and it was cold, but it wasn't this cold. I'm certainly glad that December of last year wasn't like this year. So let's keep going. 23.7 actually got lower. It actually got colder in November last year than December last year. Anyways, let's go ahead and go back to February 2021. 22. 22. Go back to December 2020. And of course, the weather station was put in Christmas. Oh, actually, the day after Christmas, 2020, and it recorded a low of 22. That was the lowest recorded low for that month. So yeah, we have definitely blown the coldest recorded temperature by a good close to 5 degrees already. Yeah, so again, January of this year, it got down to 15.4, and it is currently 10.4. So we've blown that by 5 degrees already. Wood stove has been going. I'm getting ready to reload it with some fresh logs. And I tell you, it's getting a little cool in here. If you go into the computer room, this is like the coolest room in the house when the heat is not running. You see it's just 62 degrees in here. It definitely feels cooler in here. There's that 10.4 degrees outside. And a 6-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah, buddy, let's see what that wind chill is. Yeah, it feels like 3 degrees. Definitely not a pleasant time to be outside right now, for sure. Okay, so that wraps up for this part. I'll shoot a second part probably sometime later on. But yeah, if you're watching this video in an area where it is super cold right now, do what you can to stay warm. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.